In this video, I'm going to help you manage your time better as a musician. What's up, guys? Brandon here from KDMR Music, the channel making you a more successful musician. And buckle up, because this is going to be one of those, mature adult conversations that may not be very fun. So in my last video, I was talking about things that musicians are going to do in order to be successful and break out, reaching new audiences in 2023. And one of those things was becoming like a more frequent content creator. We're in this age where you can't just be a musician. You got to be a musician and a TikTok star and a podcast host and a YouTuber and all the things. And the super logical question that comes from that unavoidable fact is, where am I supposed to find the time to do all of those things? Like how Sway, how am I going to be Joe Budden and be Joe Rogan and be Beyonce? Like what? And I get it. There are 24 hours in a day, and time management is one of the most difficult skills to build as a human, let alone a creative human. I think it's like, at least 5 times harder for those of us who are creative, who look at our brains as sort of like free flowing objects. Unfortunately, like there's 2 areas where it is really obvious that you can't have it all. And that is, your time, and then your money, right? Your budget. And those concepts both being very similar, like time management and budgeting go hand in hand. They're not fun. Those are the 2 areas where you will very quickly reach and meet and become face to face with your limits. And so I'm going to give you 3 things that you need to know that will hopefully help you manage your time better. Because if you have a goal, it's going to be very important for you to spend time and effort trying to reach that goal. And so I want to help you, as many of you, reach your goals as possible. And so while time management can be a scary subject, can be a not so fun subject, it is necessary for your growth as a musician. So I'm going to give you 3, pretty much undeniable truths about time management, and you do with that information what you will. Hopefully it helps you see things in a better way. So the first unavoidable truth about time management is you can't do everything. Something is going to get missed. So just again, on the base level, right? We've all got 24 hours in a day. You've got just as much time as Beyonce, right? That's what they say anyway. But we've all got 24 hours. And what we find is that as we kind of shift priorities and stuff, like there's just so many things that we don't get to do. So for example, let's take my day. 24 hours in a day. I'm probably going to spend somewhere between 6 and 8 hours of that day sleeping. Let's just call that 8 hours. So 8 hours a day already gone because I'm sleeping, resting so that I can, not be stressed and tired and functional, right? So 8 hours a day sleeping. I got 16 hours left. Of those 16 hours, at least 8, sometimes 10 to 12, but usually 8 hours are going to be spent working in my day job, for a company, 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. So I got 8 hours working on my job. I got 2 kids. So another 2 hours at least is going to be spent just driving to and from school, picking them up and so on. Right. So where are we at? 8 hours at work, 2 hours at carpool. That leaves me with, if I did the math right, 6 hours? I have 6 hours left to do anything, right? So that's 6 hours left to read up on music business news so I can react to it on this channel. That's 6 hours left to clean up my office so that my background doesn't look crazy. That is 6 hours left to study, right? Read more music business trends, read about the latest, marketing happenings, different activities that are working for some people or not working for others, experimentation, running ads for clients. All of those things have to happen in about 6 hours a day. Oh, and I've got to film videos. I've got to edit videos. I've got to create thumbnails. I've got to do SEO optimization to learn about keywords and all those different things. And that's if this was the only thing I was doing, right? I've got a whole other channel where I am kind of diving deep into a different hobby, being comic books. And so with that hobby, there's, all the filming, editing, recording, and so on. But also there's like going out and buying and reading comic books, right? All of that on top of family responsibilities. You got a wife, you got kids. The point is, there are going to be times where things are missed, right? I don't have time to record a video today. I don't have time to read the latest chapter of this book today. I don't have time to record a podcast interview today or a solo podcast episode today. And the sooner you understand that something is going to get missed, it kind of helps you look at things a little bit easier, right? I know I can't do everything. And that leads into the second truth about time management. You have to learn to prioritize. If you can't do everything, well, then you've got to decide what you want to do, what's most important for you to do. And I think the reason that we hate time management is that we like to feel like we can do everything. But similarly to budgeting, right? Where budgeting feels like if you're walking into a budget meeting, especially if you're doing this with like your spouse or a partner, it feels like you're walking into a room where someone's going to tell you all the things you can't do. But I would challenge you to shift your focus. And instead of thinking about what you can't do, think about all the things that you want to do and think about yourself as the ultimate master of deciding what you will do, right? So I'm going to sleep for 6 hours because 6 hours of sleep is important to me. I'm going to record a video because recording videos is important to me. And I'm going to practice my guitar because I can't make better music without practicing my guitar. So I'm going to spend an hour a day doing that. And so what I would say is maybe write down a list of all the activities that you've got to do on a regular basis, right? Everything's not a daily activity. Maybe you record videos once a week. Maybe you practice your guitar once a week or so on, right? But write down a list of all the things that you feel like you have to do over the course of, let's say, a month. And as you write those down, whether it's grocery shopping, let's say it's, picking kids up from school, carpooling, going out with your friends, going to the movies, dating girls or guys, dating, right? All of those different things. Write down all the things that you would do in a month. And then slowly mark out the things that just aren't as important to you. Maybe you don't have to spend an hour grocery shopping. Instead, you can call up HelloFresh and get groceries delivered, or you can do shipped and whatever, the shopping people, right? You could DoorDash, all these different things. To think about areas where you don't want to spend your time and then think about ways that you can sort of get that time back. But what I find is that going into like looking at a calendar, I hate looking at a full calendar. And sometimes I've got to just, schedule blocks where I'm not doing anything or I'm not doing anything focused. I got time to just play video games or not or whatever. But I have to decide what I'm giving up in order to get that block of time that's free flowing. So understand that you can't do everything. And then understand that you got to decide what is important for you to do. For example, I didn't eat breakfast this morning because I wanted to make this video. Now my stomach's growling on the microphone. And maybe that's a decision you don't want to make, right? These are things. So can't do everything. You got to decide what you want to do. And the third truth about time management is execution is everything. I can write out a pretty calendar. I live and die by whiteboards a lot of times because I write out my schedule on a calendar, but execution is everything. There's honestly no one looking over your shoulder. Unless you're a kid at school, there's no bell that's going to ring and say, hey, time for the next thing, right? So think about tools that will help you execute better. The Reminders app on your smartphone is a great tool. There are other productivity tools like Asana, where you can create a task and give yourself a due date for that task. Those are helpful. And depending on if you work with other people, bandmates and stuff like that, your online calendars can be super helpful for that as well. Um, but, but the other piece of execution is, I think it's a little bit easier to do all this stuff when you're single. But if you're someone like me, you got a family, you got kids, sometimes you have to build in flexibility, but you also have to have conversations with those around you to kind of help you stay on track, right? For me, that is talking to my wife and saying, hey, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've got to record YouTube videos, so I can't help with the kids on this time from, 6 to 8 p.m. or whatever time that is. Execution is everything. Want to give yourself grace. You don't want to beat yourself up if you don't stick to a schedule in a certain week. But understand that time waits for no one. If you don't build the discipline to say, all right, this is what I'm doing right now. Let me shut off distractions because I only have a little bit of time to work with, then, you're going to kind of end up stuck. And all the marketing advice in the world is not going to help you if you can't manage your time well enough to even create a good product, let alone create all the ancillary content that has to go around that product, right? So hopefully those sort of basic tenets helped out. I know it feels, in some ways it's basic because time management is simple, but it's not easy. Right. So I wanted to just kind of give you that. If you needed a pep talk, look, you can do it. If I can run this YouTube channel, which to be fair, I'm sporadic on videos right now, but if I can, work a full-time job, have kids that, are raised halfway decently in the world, and make time for other relationships and things, you who are so focused on music and you love it with so much of your being, you can make it happen for yourself. But it is going to mean that you got to say no to certain things. You might have to put off family. You might have to put off going out with your friends. You might have to put off, binging anime on Netflix. All these different things, right? These are things that you enjoy, but they can't be more important than your goal. So understand you're not going to be able to do all of those things. Prioritize the things that are important to you. If anime is that important to you, schedule some time on the calendar for it. And then execution is key. So do things at the scheduled time and then cut off and go back to the other things that are just as important to you. Cool? Deal? Hopefully this helps. And if you want more questions answered, just like the homies that asked this question, go ahead and comment down below. I'll see you guys in another video real soon. Till then, be safe, be well, keep dreaming, and work hard to make those music business dreams your reality. Peace.